Hey everyone, it's UV here with a new tutorial. It's been a while that I was doing tutorials, but now I feel much more better and have much more time to do it. So yeah, in this tutorial, I want to show you a technique that I found with the 2D particle system. This is not the 2D particle system that I built with you together as this component from the last tutorials. Actually, here I'm using GLSL top, which takes the initial position and does all the calculation of the uh, movement and forces and the life of the particles inside. It's a much more simplified system, but it's basically it works the same. The particle system that I built only with tops was uh, basically kind of like a challenge to do everything in top, everything that is basically TouchDesigner environment. But sometimes I'm using this one, which is very simplified. um, and I have like the this one is the render component, which basically it's just a render. I'm not gonna build it with you from scratch. I'm gonna basically show you step by step, kind of like not step by step, but like from the beginning, that you will understand, and you could play with it and change it a bit. For example, with this noise, let me color it. You can really change how those creatures looks like, um, and of course the render itself you can really play with the look, because like if I turn on a lot of stuff here, it will basically look much more different, but yeah, it's really up to you to play with it. um, so yeah, let's start. First of all, I have this constant, which basically I do the number of particles, the count, the step, and the speed. If you remember from my previous tutorials, we basically have this number, small number, that we add the force to our particles, and it's multiplied by the speed. So it's all done inside the GLSL. So here we have the let me just yeah, the initial position, which basically it's a UV map, a grid of points. Um, then I noise it a bit to randomize it very slightly, and I center it uh, in the 0 position, because like before it was just like from 0 to 1. This is how I like to work. It's really yeah, doesn't really matter if you do the calculations and the same, like correctly. And then here we are creating basically the life of the particles, which is just a noise. It's really similar to the particle system that I built only with tops. But this noise, this live particles, we basically add it as a alpha component to the rest of the part of the data, basically the initial position, and we put it inside the GLSL. That way, basically, we are using all the RGBA of this, data, to have the whole information that we need for that system, basically, except of the force is basically here. And you can see this is the force, and it actually looks really similar to the movement. And yeah, so we have this feedback, which is the basically what we need to basically make the system run. So it goes to the GLSL, and I'm not gonna go deep into GLSL. There's tons of free YouTube tutorials about this also. It's a very simple code. We're basically just sampling the position in the first line, um, from one from the feedback and one from the initial position actually. Um, and the feedback is basically our current position because it takes the output, the position, output, yeah. So then we are taking the velocity, which basically it's this texture, it's the force, and this calculation over here, it's the remap. So go back to my previous tutorials, I will talk about it a lot. This remap is very important to have this nice movement. So we're sampling the force, and then we're extracting basically the life of the particles from the alpha component. So it's pose that alpha, and it's very simple code. It's just like adding the velocity and multiplying it by float number, which is u step, that we can find here in the vectors, which is the step and the speed multiplied from our constant. Then we're adding it to the position, and we're subtracting from the life the same amount in each step. And if the life is lower than 0, we are basically initializing everything to the initial position. And yeah, and this is it for the whole system. Basically, you can use the same texture with my component. It might need to have more tweaks and stuff because I really parameterize it with a lot of stuff, but it will work the same. For this one, I just sometimes I do simple stuff, and like I know exactly what I want, so I'm using this GLSL, and it's honestly I think it runs much more faster, I guess, if you raise the amount of pixels and particles. Um, yeah, and then here I just limit it to -1 and 1, so it will have kind of like boundaries. Um, I do it also the same with the particle system component. Here I can change basically the size. I will talk about it afterwards because sometimes we don't want like a square resolution. So I will talk about it in the end. I will show you how you can basically use like other resolution and basically fill in the whole uh, thing with that it will look nice and not weird. I will show you. This component, it's a component from the actual component of the particle system that I built, which basically fades in and out the particles based on their life, so it makes it much more smoother um, and like not uh, sometimes it just they when they pop in and out the particles they like die or something, or just reborn. They it doesn't look good, it's really flickering. So I have this to minimize this thing. So what I'm doing, I'm basically taking from the output the alpha here with the reorder, and this is the current life of the particles, and I'm putting it with a select basically somewhere in this kind of system. Um, this is like I'm using here some math stuff, like smooth step. If you know what is it, you can just read about it. Basically, it's a simple line in GLSL code. It's a function that you can actually I could actually do it here inside the GLSL, but I don't know. I'm used to do it also with tops, so it's just like a mixture between GLSL and tops. But what you need to know, it's like I'm putting it here in the render component and it's basically the color of the particles, and you can just play with it and see how uh, it basically changes the look. Um, then I'm doing quite heavy post processing, honestly, because I'm doing like a sharpen here and a blur to I don't know to make it look more organic. That's how I feel about it. But you can definitely play around and get different looks. And yeah, the juicy part it's here, but it's actually quite simple. Um, I really played and with some noises and like simple stuff, and then I accidentally, or I don't know, the gods of TouchDesigner just told me, listen, put a limit here and see what happens. And I think I just because I saw a bunch of tutorials, I think from Pocket at 12 and other people using a limit, and I just remembered that when you do it, you get some weird stuff here. So with the zigzag, it looks like this. With the loop, it looks a bit different. And if you play with this exponent, it's also like gonna make it more spiral vibe. So I started here with just the noise. You can play with it. It's like it's the amplitude at 0, but basically you can also play with, you see like it makes it more kind of particles and like, yeah, this vibe. Then I'm multiplying it by -1, I think, just because, yeah, I wanted it to go down a bit, like the whole movement. And this noise, you can also like play with with it, and yeah, so yeah, these ones you can definitely play around and see what happened. But the main thing is this limit. This is like what's creating this spiral bio creatures, I guess. Um, yeah, and it's going inside the GLSL, of course, and yeah. What else I wanted to show you? Okay, let me just go back to the initial look. Yeah, cool. So if you want to have a different resolution, let's say here you want it to be 1080 by uh, like this. No, sorry. So like this. Then you can change also the layout because I'm putting here the panel, so it will make it like this. What happened? Okay, so now I want to basically post it on Instagram with this resolution, and you see the whole thing. Let me zoom out. The whole thing is like really weird. Um, so Yeah, what you do here, um, you can first go to this transform. Let me color it, and let me color actually this also. And here you need to type in the ratio, which is 16 by 9, and then in the texture itself it makes it weird, but in the actual um, the output at the end it looks nicer. um, Something is weird though. Let me Oops, sorry. Yeah, I don't know why it's became um, oh, okay. I think we have a problem. Yeah. um, like the render, it's okay, I guess. Yeah, okay, now we're good. So you see it's still square basically, but our canvas is like not square. So with the point transform here, let me color it, you can scale it to with the ratio. Yeah, and then if I press H, it's uh, it's covering the whole thing. So one, you change it here, the ratio, and the second one you change it here at the Y. You can also like make a resolution X and ratio, and then like make it change automatically. But like I don't know, I didn't do it. I'm usually doing um, this resolution for Instagram or whatever. So yeah, I think yeah, this is it. I really wanted to make it actually short, and I hope you will have questions that I can answer. Um, and yeah, of course, you can play more with the look. I guess this is it. I hope you will like it and you will create cool stuff. I want to see you doing doing crazy stuff with it. Um, so yeah, see you soon with more tutorials. I hope. Have a nice day.